us on Season 6, Episode 17, where we watch Escape the Undertaker on Netflix, where he has mysterious Sith powers. We watch Great Jedi take him down. I'm Chris Lorenz.
You put your hand in the fog? This is Brian.
Get ready to pile drive this show. This is Noah Singer.
Yo, it's your boy Max Windu, famous Jedi Knight guy.
If this is your first time joining us, we watch a different reality show each week, discussing it in minute detail, figuring out if it's good or bad. Brian?
But this week, is it a reality show?
No, absolutely not.
Hold on. Brian, give me the show description. No, it's fine. We'll move on.
Okay.
Somebody pull up the show description. Very poorly edited show right now. Anyway, Netflix told me this is a reality show when I was looking for a reality show. And we like to do a reality show.
So I got
Halloween.
you.
It's Halloween special.
All right. I got the description up now. We are prepared. The New Day wrestlers seek to survive the supernatural surprises at the Undertaker's spooky mansion in an interactive WWE-themed special that is Escape the Undertaker on Netflix.
Most importantly, and unmentioned in that, is this is a choose-your-own-adventure interactive Netflix show.
Yeah. So, as people might be aware, back in it was 2018, I think.
Something like that.
They came out with like a movie, Bandersnatch, which is a choose-your-own-adventure, and they were trying to get it going. And back then, we did do a Bear Grylls
You versus Wild.
You versus Wild, which, looking at this, there's multiple You versus Wild seasons and movies.
Oh, wow.
So they're keeping that going.
Okay.
And we like to do Halloween one, and we hate Halloween shows. They're terrible. Not that this is much better, but this seemed interesting. I thought Escape the Undertaker was a good idea.
I really
What?
thought this.
What?
This was one of the stinkiest turds I have ever dedicated 30 minutes of my life to.
I thought this was a good idea. I didn't say it was going to be good.
Yeah, he didn't say it executed well.
Okay.
Because, like,
Okay.
we were really shooting for the stars considering.
I was real heated there for a second.
Don't tell everyone what you think of the show, Max.
We were
What do
really.
you think this podcast is for?
Yeah.
Tell them what to think of the show. Fuck
Pile
the show.
drive it.
Or Brian.
We were really shooting for the stars considering we really hated the Bear Grylls thing, and we also hate the Halloween shows.
The bar is low.
Well, oh man. So I got some interesting minutia. So You vs. Wild was nominated for an Emmy. The interactive one.
I feel like Netflix must have some sort of Emmy connections where all their shit gets nominated for Emmys, even though it's fucking garbage.
No, what category was it nominated in?
Yeah, this is the best part. Outstanding Original Interactive Program.
Okay, so they make this garbage so that they can get nominated for shit.
Wait,
The
what
Emmy
else?
Award nominated You versus Undertaker.
But what else is in the original interactive programming?
The newest Goosebumps book, duh.
I mean, I would ask, are video games allowed in that? And if not, why not? What?
It's the Emmys.
I don't know. Just
format
tell
medium.
us if you're going to tell us. Now we got to move on to this stupid shit.
I'm gonna go in the corner, but I'm just like really intrigued
Alright.
how they come up with this
All
category.
right, so let's take a step back. Let's talk about this overall structure of the show. We should talk about our own choose your adventure stuff later, but so we have the Undertaker. He lives in this crazy mansion, and he's got this urn of power. The New Day come, and they knock on the door. It's like, can we borrow the urn to bring power to the power of positivity?
Let me pause you there. For those of us who don't know wrestling, the New Day is a wrestling team of 3 dudes.
They are Xavier Woods, Big E, and Kofi Kingston.
And they're very positive.
It seems so. At least in this video. I don't watch wrestling anymore, so I don't really know. So
No, you probably have like the most knowledge on this. Did you actually know this team?
The New Day.
I've heard of them.
Once they said their name, I was like, oh, okay. I would definitely not have been able to guess their name, but I would have recognized they are wrestlers.
So, as I pointed out as we were going on, right as this thing starts, Undertaker comes in and you have a choice. Are you ready to take on the Undertaker, or are you too scared? And if you pick, are you too scared, which is obviously what we did, it rolls straight to credits, and then skips right. This is the highlight of this whole thing.
We got a good laugh, and it was like within the first 30 seconds, we were like, "Oh, maybe this is gonna be good." And then the Undertaker's like, "Haha, JK."
This is really what I want to highlight about what was fun about the Choose Your Own Adventures was like the crazy deaths somebody would get in because like, oh, you went in door left or right, and left was like, some Lovecraftian horror that like ate you alive, and like door right was the real hallway or something. So it's just crazy shit.
Yeah.
And the Netflix shows need to really embrace the goofy, crazy shit of a Choose Your Own Adventure and not this fucking like garbage choices.
Yeah, the other thing about this is that when you do fail a choice and it brings you back to like a junction, it makes you repeat all the stuff that's like the same.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like when the Tomb Raider reboot came out, all the trailers were just like how Lara Croft dies in random fucking places. It was like she falls on spikes, she falls in the river. Like that's the kind of shit this thing needs to be. It needs to be like a death simulator, and it's like it's made for like babies or something.
But Chris, this is made by Netflix. Only the highest production values.
This was tagged on Netflix with family.
Well, clearly, WWE is really shooting for a certain demo here, and they must be like 10.
That is definitely their main demo.
Yeah.
10-year-old goth kids.
Maybe. So I got to bring it back to this Emmy category.
Hit me.
So there's an Emmy category, and it's kind of like I don't know the best way to put it, but like very short content. So it's like Coco VR, Spider-Man in VR, NASA in VR. So it's a lot of these like one-off productions.
Oh, I mean, there's a bajillion of these Emmy, categories that are complete bullshit. Nobody gives a shit about them.
Right, and
But
so
what else is in the interactive category?
that's what it is. It's like the Spider-Man, the VR experience, Blade Runner, the VR experience, Coco, the VR experience.
All right, so it's a bunch of garbage that's made for the sake of getting an award.
And then, for some reason, the same year, You vs. Wild was nominated. In that same category was HQ Trivia.
Hell yeah, that rules!
Which, unclear why, but...
Who won?
The winner that year was NASA. NASA's InSight Mars Landing.
Speaking of the Emmys, please stop nominating Nailed It as best host. I'm gonna. That's my new goal is to never get that show nominated.
I think this should just reinforce your efforts to do anything with the Emmys.
Oh, I don't do anything with the Emmys except for say that Nailed It should not be nominated for an Emmy.
And this show.
Who cares? This show gets you get nominated once, whatever, okay, but like 3 years running, no, unforgivable.
So one more fun fact about this show. The director of Escaping the Undertaker also directed You vs. Wild.
Doesn't surprise me.
Also directed the other interactive Netflix
Bandersnatch?
Not Bandersnatch. It's
Bandersnatch was decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the other it's a Bear Grylls type thing. Give me one second. Animals on the Loose.
What about Man versus You? And You're the Wild. That would be great, actually. Like, I send a tiger to kill Bear Grylls. That would be so much fun.
All right. Let's get back to the show for a quick minute here. Clearly, we're really excited to talk about it.
Yeah.
So New Day come in, and they decide to split up. You can follow one of them. We followed the person going downstairs. We followed the fog.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find out some sort of ritual began while we were downstairs with the fog. And the fog led to a furnace. It was very confusing.
Yeah, so you mentioned the ritual. There's something where, like, you're following Guy 1, and then you're transported back to Guy 2 and 3, and Guy 3, like, throws up some goo.
Big
and
E.
they're like, oh no, he's getting worse. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit about? They haven't introduced this plot point at all.
Yeah, they definitely do a terrible job right here.
We
have no idea what's going on.
They lost me real quick.
And at the end they kept referring to like, oh, we got your soul. We got what? Did he lose his soul?
Like, it just seems like we chose some unpopular choices and just skipped over pieces of the story.
Here were the choices were. Like, I didn't
Follow
write down,
this guy.
I didn't really write down all the choices, so I don't know.
It doesn't fucking matter.
The choices were like stupid. So we just chose one.
Yeah.
And it was like it should have just been an end game one. So you restart it with somebody else.
Sure.
That's what they should be doing with these. Is like, okay, if you really only have one storyline, which this seems to do, so we followed the fog, and then it took us to the other two and just kept going. So like our choice had no meaning. Just kill us, bring us back to like the real storyline, move on. But no, this is terrible writing. Terrible. So this is ritual. They have to unlock the urn with some sort of fucking key. So we have to go. We search upstairs or basement. Spoiler alert: we have to search both.
Who could have seen this coming?
Who saw that? What kind of choice is that?
Who put that on?
Then we go down to the basement again. So we're already in the basement, but now there's this other fucking room that he didn't find earlier.
It's a mortuary.
Yeah, how the fuck do you
Or
just
morgue.
miss a morgue?
Like, just this giant morgue. They're like, oh, you made it here. Oh, we're going to try this other room now.
To be fair, it was kind of foggy down there.
It's true.
Yeah, and they gave a nice little Easter egg in there with Dr. Isaac Yankum. So, Dr. Isaac Yankum was an old wrestler. It was actually one of the original characters of the person who played Kane in wrestling. And Kane in wrestling is the Undertaker's brother.
Oh.
So it's a very deep cut if you know your background.
It's really... Noah, you don't strike me as like a wrestling aficionado, so it's a funny little world of knowledge you got in there.
I knew that Isaac Yankum was a wrestler. I had to Google him because
Okay.
I knew he was somehow related, and I was like, "Oh, right, okay." What I wasn't sure, I knew it was like someone's old character. I wasn't sure if it was the Undertaker's old character or actually Kane's.
Yeah. So after that, there's like something where we had to follow Xavier versus follow the others, and Xavier was taken by the Undertaker, so we followed him. But then the other two got the key somehow. The story made no sense to me.
The thing is, like, nobody wants to watch you getting a key. We want to watch you dealing with the Undertaker, and that's what they show us.
But they don't. But then they just pretend like shit happens that we don't know.
Like, but I don't care. They just got a fucking key.
I mean,
Like,
obviously, we never went back to watch it. So
yeah, that's just not interesting. It's fine. Although, for the second one, I did think it might have been interesting if there was like a failure point, because that could have been one of those random deaths. I was totally calling it.
well, we chose the ones that we thought would lead to a failure,
And we failed at that.
we failed a couple times.
Yeah.
I think we failed as much as you could.
Yeah. It didn't seem like it branched very often.
Yeah, definitely didn't. There's no branching here, really. I think there's only one thing that I think that you could happen or not happen, but we'll get to that. Whatever. They got the key, so they have to search upstairs because we didn't search upstairs yet. And then there was like another thing where we had to keep a power vial, which comes into like play later. So if you're doing this, which I don't know if I'd recommend, but you should definitely keep the power vial.
But you should continue listening to the podcast.
But this is probably the branching point that you were talking about, because that's a pretty far back one to later.
We'll talk about it when we get there. I think we'll talk about that.
Okay.
So then there was this. I liked this actually. So it was like follow Kofi or follow the others, and Kofi finds some secret entrance into the Undertaker's. Like he's like got his security set up, and he's looking at all these cameras and stuff, or all these like Anyway, so we get these cameras, and then we get to face him or flee. So obviously we're facing the Undertaker.
Yeah.
And this was in a failure case, and I thought that was really fun. They had like, what was it? How did he die again?
He punched him, and that was that.
Yeah, like you get knocked out, you're done.
But like this whole show, this whole thing should definitely have been just random ways to kills from the Undertaker. No,
It was one of the the guy's named the fucking Undertaker, and he kills him by punching him.
He's
the
got-
most boring fucking Oh my god.
Max, I want to shoot my death idea for the other scene.
I love this. Hit me.
Okay, so getting the key involved them like climbing up this alligator.
Sure.
Mhm.
And so somebody put like who is it that had to like go and face the Undertaker?
Xavier.
Xavier, yeah.
Or no, Kofi.
Oh, Kofi was like stepping on the plate to like hold the alligator's mouth open. What if the Undertaker just takes Kofi, just starts stomping on the plate so the alligator eats the other dude?
I am so sad we didn't get to see anything like that.
right?
It definitely seemed like the alligator's chomping was going to come into play.
Yeah,
And then we just decided to go to another room, and we didn't see what happened with the alligator. Just
Mm.
awful.
Yeah, that's the thing. So when we from our failure case, we just decided to flee from the Undertaker, and then somehow the other two got a key, and we were magically back to the thing, and the story just kind of got disjointed. We had no idea how they got where the key was, what the alligator had anything to do with it at all, right?
yeah, we know nothing.
We saw there's 2 keys gotten. We saw no keys gotten.
Yep. Yeah, it's more like stuff is happening off screen, and that's not exciting.
Mm-mm.
Well, yeah. I mean, we just know the excitement's probably not all that more interesting. To that point, I really think a Saw movie like this would be fucking great.
Ooh.
Like you play the person in the traps, and you got to make decisions to see if you can get out of the traps or not. Whoa.
I have a
Would you
argument.
like to play an interactive game?
I don't think any show like this is great. Like, there's no consequence to the decision.
There could be.
Like, what do you want the consequence to be? Like,
no,
we
that's-
started.
There's absolutely consequences in you, the jury.
But like we rolled it back,
Too
and then you
deep,
had to like
too
replay the
deep.
whole thing.
Yeah.
That was the consequence of burnt time.
Yeah, it just burned time, but like, it just doesn't feel fun. I don't know how to describe. Maybe it's just how it's executed. It
I
just doesn't
think
feel
what-
good.
I think like a horror, like an actual horror movie would be fun. I think seeing people die weird ways would be fun. I don't know if it would really pan out and I'd be bored after all these deaths after a while, but I think it'd be fun. Or like take like a National Lampoon and be like, okay, take this one turn and grandma dies and put her on the roof. Like you got to make that choice. Like that's like you got to put yourself in like moral quandaries and stuff. You can't just be like go left or right. Like,
Yeah.
that's boring.
Agreed. The decisions were never interesting, ever.
Yeah, you got to make decent decisions. Like, okay, do you put grandma on the roof or do you call and like get the funeral arranged and like never make it to Wally World?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think. It's like because it's a hybrid game, right? And show, and game has game mechanics, right? It makes it interesting that your decisions has consequences. In this, it just feels like okay, I'll just keep going back and forth.
I have a really odd anecdote about this. I once took a 12-day video game class taught by Sid Meier, and his definition of a good game was a series of interesting decisions. So this failed that definition completely, and
interesting.
that's stuck with me.
Who's Sid?
Have
got
you
it.
heard of Civilization?
Yeah.
Or Civilization 5?
Civ.
Yeah.
Sid
Sid
Meier's.
Meier's Civilization.
Oh,
Very, very famous video game guy.
Sid Civ.
No, what is your take on the Choose Your Own Adventure books?
As a kid, there was like a fun little goosebump, like curveball, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, what did you like about them?
That is a very deep cut for young Noah, and I cannot answer that precisely.
I'm telling you what you liked about them.
Oh, tell me what I liked about them.
I think you liked trying to weave your way into the end. That was fun.
Mm.
Sure.
And you got to like go back and forth and like, okay, one here, go to page 72, go to 12, go to 32. And I think that, your choices kind of didn't matter, but then again, seeing people die or like weird choices, how it ended was also fun.
Mm.
That's where these things really need to start.
Yep.
Mm. What's up, Brian?
More importantly, you don't have like that finger dexterity workout that you had from the books.
Mm.
Yeah, I always
The-
had to-
The only problem with the books is like, oh, go to page 72. I hate navigating to a specific page.
Mm.
yeah. Now that it's all computerized, it's no fun. It's like, you
So-
can't cheat, you can't go back.
I did like flipping through the pages just to see the weird endings I never saw.
Oh yeah, definitely. That I think there's room for innovation is what I'm hearing. We have our audio-visual Choose Your Own Adventure. We have our analog Choose Your Own Adventure podcast Choose Your Own Adventure.
Let's do it.
That's not a bad idea. And Spotify now has like some semi-interactive podcast features.
Oh, they do. They do.
Just polls for right now.
Yeah. Well, no, they have questions too.
Yeah. If you like this idea, please vote on our Spotify poll podcast thing.
Well, to that fact, we'll look at it later. But I have polls up on Twitter and Spotify about what you thought about last week's episode.
Oh.
So if you want to rate going forward, check
do.
Spotify or Twitter to rate this episode.
Yeah.
At Who Put This On. And we'll reveal it next week on the podcast.
Ooh.
So let's get back into this thing, I guess.
Escape the Undertaker, Chris.
So after they open the stupid urn thing with the 2 keys,
Yeah,
they have to touch the key. Once they touch the urn, they have to face their fears.
Mm-hmm.
So we do. Who do we do?
I think we did Kofi first.
No, we didn't. We did Xavier's fear.
Oh, Xavier, yeah.
And then he was buried alive. And
Mhm.
then you could either join Undertaker or stay loyal and face your fear. So obviously we joined Undertaker. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
I mean, if you get buried alive, like you're dead. Like that's done. I think you're dead either way. That's a bad path.
So this is the climactic battle with the Undertaker, and Undertaker has like Sith powers, like literal Sith powers. He's got the Force lightning, and he's got like some sort of thing to like float himself up in the air. Like this is like why this show exists. Essentially, is this like Undertaker fight, but it's not like a wrestling fight.
No.
It's like this. It's like a gobbledygook garbage fight.
It would have been... Oh, sorry, Brian.
But that's what made it interesting. It was just like so stupid. It was kind of funny.
It would have been cool if somehow they ended up in a wrestling ring.
Like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
should have just been a wrestling fight. But then
Hmm.
the Undertaker has powers, and you're like, what is going on?
It's also surprising he didn't do any of his 2 signature moves. The pile driver, which for those listening at home, it's when you flip a person upside down, put their head between your legs, and you kind of do a kneel with 2 legs at the same time, pile driving their head into the ground and ostensibly breaking their neck and killing them. The second one is a choke slam. That's where you extend your hand straight, grab their neck, and pull their whole body up by the weight of their neck and slam them to the ground.
Yeah, he was probably counting on that whole lightning thing to just instantly kill them. Because once you learn that, you got to use it.
Yeah, when you got lightning, those other 2 seem like a lot of effort.
Definitely. So since we joined the Undertaker, we betray Xavier betrays the other 2 and end. Then we get an ending. It's a very boring ending. Like that's the other problem. So endings are boring.
Yeah, I really wanted so the ending here, they got thrown into coffins. Why didn't they just throw them in the furnace? Like, at least show me a burning body.
That would have been interesting. A little like Squid Game action.
Yeah.
Whoa.
No spoilers.
That's not. It's not a spoiler. Yeah, like the creativity on the ending, a little lackluster, a little bit. But I think it. I don't know if you'd go to the burn body, but they shaked it up with a little bit of the coffins, and also what I was really pissed with, there's a signature Undertaker match, which is a buried alive match. And so like they were actually buried alive in a coffin, and then old school Undertakers would have a coffin match, and what they would do is at the end of the coffin match, you'd have to roll someone out of the ring into a coffin and then nail the coffin shut, and so it didn't really incorporate these pieces from wrestling.
Can I tell you what I thought the coffin match was? I thought they were just like both of them were wearing coffins that just had like holes for their arms and legs, and they could run into each other because that would be great.
I thought you were gonna say it's like a COVID thing, and they cough on each other, or gets coughed on, loses coffin. Get it?
Anyway, this show sucked.
Anyway, so then we have to go back and choose somebody else's fears. Obviously,
Yeah.
we chose Big E's fears. There were
Biggie.
spiders. Whatever.
They do a Fear Factor thing where there's a cage on his head and some spiders roll in. He says, "Do you want to betray?" And he says, "No, we chose that."
And then Ludacris pops out.
Yeah. That would make the show. Ooh, what about Fear Factor Interactive? That could be all right.
That would be, yeah. I can buy into that.
What interactive? What's interactive?
You play as Ludacris, and you just get to decide what to subject these poor people to. And they have to record all 20 possible options.
So in the U versus Wild, right? There was a part I thought was an interesting choice of like, do you want to eat bear dung or like rat poo?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
neither.
like there was like you have to suffer yourself through either one of those, and that was an interesting choice.
Yeah,
and way better than anything in here.
Yeah. One thing we got to touch on the choices here. Max, what kind of design did they use for the choices?
Oh, it's sort of a elongated hexagon that is an exact match for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Exact match.
So after this big attack, whenever they're attacking the Undertaker, we get a choice of grab the urn or destroy the urn. So we went into this like New Day went in to grab the urn. So obviously we're gonna grab the urn. Once you grab the urn, you get teleported outside this mansion,
and you lose the urn.
You lose the urn,
and
you
you're
just
like,
walk away.
Well, that was the show. Doop doop doop.
And then we said that's an ending. Let's see the other ending. Let's see what happens if you destroy the urn. So we go back to that junction. Somebody takes a power potion.
Yeah, the power vial that we talked about earlier comes
back
into play here. He takes the power vial, and then he takes a sledgehammer to the urn, and then they wake up like in a coffin outside.
Right,
the
but a
mansion.
nice coffin, like it's padded and everything.
Instead of
no.
They destroy the urn.
Yeah,
and then the Undertaker is donezo.
That's true. The Undertaker's gone.
And then they see a coffin in his house, and they're like, "What's this?" And they touch it, and then they wake up in the outside coffin.
Okay, I missed that part.
Again,
sorry. Trying to recap these things, sometimes I get kind of lost in the details.
I mean, the show made no sense. It had no flow. Why is there so much teleportation? Why does the Undertaker have teleporter action? Powers. I'm so mad about this fucking show.
I'm going with like your brain just really needed to shut off to prevent any further damage to it, and that's why you don't remember it.
Yeah.
That's possible.
Two other tidbits on the show that I want to bring up. One, so we mentioned these are wrestlers, if you haven't caught on by now, but they don't incorporate anything about wrestling like in the show, but they do cutscenes to matches.
They do that,
and it makes no sense. This literally makes zero sense. Like we talk about things making no sense in the show. This makes literally no sense.
None of this makes sense, Noah. None.
Like no, there is a story they were trying to architect. Granted, the story not great, but like these cutaway scenes add literally nothing to the story.
No, it's like, hey, remember the New Day from this match where they were the New Day?
But like it just there is like the other parts like I don't like that storyline. This is purely a non sequitur, and they just jump back to the show.
I don't think Noah's been this annoyed at something for a while. Like, just like this is so stupid.
It literally added nothing. And we're not saying it's like, and the like, oh my god, it's nothing. This literally added nothing, which is bad. I have one other minutia.
Go ahead.
Because I feel like we're gonna wrap up soon, so I want to make sure get this
in.
in.
Out of your system.
Paul Bearer, we haven't talked about him. So for those that don't know, you have a pallbearer, which is someone that holds a casket. But then you have Undertaker's manager, who is Paul Bearer.
That's pretty good.
Who is his manager from like the 90s to early 2000s, and sadly passed away. But he was featured quite heavily in this show for someone that has not been a character in a WWE for probably 20 years.
Yeah, it was weird. And that was a lot of the shots were of him. Especially like when we were in the Undertaker's like, I don't know, lair for security lair.
Yeah.
Was like a whole like weird shot of him laughing. It was very odd.
It really was.
You think he's getting paid?
Paul, well, his estate is being paid.
You think so?
I'd
Does he
imagine.
have an estate? Does he just
Probably.
WWE just own him a bunch of money? Like,
Oh, that they probably do own him. Yeah. Let's see what we can find on the corner. But
I'm already on his wiki page.
nice. But I like that Google has him as an American funeral director, not as a wrestler. But no, there was a good 60 Minutes a few years ago that goes over. There was town agencies that focus on dead people, and they manage the rights of all. Like that's what they do of dead people and their likeness being used, etc.
That totally makes sense. That's cool.
Exciting news.
You're related to him?
No, in November 2020, a hologram of Paul Bearer appeared for The Undertaker's final farewell.
Wow, they went Tupac.
Hologram.
So as we get into our questions here, I have one minor minutia that I thought was really funny. So as like they come in to do this fight into this Undertaker fight, Undertaker is pretending to like smith something, and he's just hitting a cold nail with a cold hammer.
Yeah.
like what? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like you can't show it. Like pretend like you do. You just can't show it
Like,
because it's silly.
in any case, why is he smithing a nail?
They could have been anything. You could be like Undertaker's never used a knife, or like what kind of thing is he using? Is he making a nail for the coffins?
Honestly,
Yeah.
he
Is
could
he
have.
making his own coffins?
He's definitely making his own coffins, dude. He's not Alistair. Like he's got to have
He's
full
making
control of
his
the quality.
own nails for the coffins.
Right, but that's my next question. Why do they need to be square? Like he's like flattening them like on all four sides, probably. Like why do they need to be like that?
I don't know. It's very silly. One other minutia I think that is interesting
Minutia.
is that as we were watching this, a couple minutiae actually, we were watching this, and like they first go into this mansion, it looks like a very normal like house, and then they go into very different places. Like the basement seemed like it's very different house. Then they go to a morgue, it's very different. They go to this fight, it's very different. Like the upstairs is very different. Like every single like shot or scene in this house must have been filmed somewhere else. It seems so weird.
Yeah, and I don't think we talked about the mezuzah, did we?
We did not.
Yeah, so building on the weirdness, supposedly the Undertaker's Jewish, which doesn't really add up as he has crucifixes like all over his wardrobes and everything else. But at the front of his house, he has a very clear mezuzah that's in like many frames in the beginning.
What is a mezuzah?
For those of you not in the tribe, if you ever go to a Jewish person's house, outside their door, like the entrance to the house, you'll see a little tiny box mounted often at an angle on the door frame, and it's just some Jewish thing.
Yeah, it's meant to like bring good tidings to the house, and inside of it is a little paper scroll that has some Bible passage.
Noah, do you have one?
No,
Are you gonna get one?
I'm not religious.
Okay, Max.
No, I live in an apartment building.
You put it. You can
People put them up in
outside.
apartment. It's definitely a good like test of like how religious are you? You know, that's an easy one.
I mean, if I bought a house, whatever, maybe, like, if somebody got it for me as a present, I'd be like, oh, that's very thoughtful. Yeah, sure, I'll put it up.
Same as Max. Like I haven't thought about it until you asked me right now, and I saw it on Escaping the Undertaker. So you know, for my parents' sake, they might be very happy I watched this show.
Yeah. Is it like a symbol of like one of the plagues, like when they had to,
Yes,
when you had
so
to write the X
It
on
is?
top of the door?
I believe it is sort of related to that. Don't quote me on this.
Really?
All right.
But yeah, it's one of the Passover, like, don't fuck with this house. They got Jews.
Hmm.
All right. Let's get through some of our questions now. Who's the worst human being?
Whoever greenlit this fucking garbage shit bullshit.
The director that keeps directing these garbage ones. Like Noah
Wouldn't
said,
it
it's the
be
whole thing.
Netflix that keeps greenlighting the director to direct these things?
Yeah,
No,
the
we
worst
are-
person is Ted Sarandis.
The thing is, like, we know Netflix just lights a lot of shit. Like, they're cutting it back a little
But
bit
I
now,
don't
but
understand why Netflix greenlit this show. Like WWE has its own network,
Well-
and they're on Fox. Like what? Like why?
WWE doesn't have the WWE network does not have the technology for interactive gaming.
So do you think WWE paid Netflix for this?
Yes.
That's the only way.
No,
works.
I think it's a different angle. My hunch is this is based off of how the WWE is structured as a corporation. My bet, you have WWE Productions as a separate business unit, as the other business units that actually stream content and responsible for subscribers. So they probably produced it and they're like, oh, we can get a better offer from Netflix instead of an internal transfer price, and they sell it to Netflix, at least for
But why would
US
Netflix
rights.
buy this?
Right. Here's the thing: they wouldn't produce this for any other studio because nobody else does the interactive thing.
That's the only kicker here, which through their own distribution, can they do this whole thing?
I suspect WWE wants to experiment with new channels of getting their content out, and they'll see how it goes.
But why was it?
You're probably
wrestling?
right.
Like, where was the wrestling? This is about wrestler. WWE's about like. There's nothing wrestling going on. It's so weird.
I'm going to give this to Max. He's definitely right. The WWE, like Pornhub, is always on the cutting edge of like every technology. So I think Max had a.
Where's the Pornhub?
When is Pornhub getting in the interactive game?
Yeah, why aren't they nominated for Emmys?
Hasn't interactive porn been a thing for a while?
I don't know.
Oh,
Send me those links, Noah.
There are porn video games, yes.
Right? Yeah, I feel
but
like
this is
a
not.
thing.
This is just an interactive movie.
Yeah, but nah, I'm gonna go with Max. I'm backing that horse. They're always pushing the envelope.
So, is this an Apex downgrade or upgrade for Undertaker? Or
This is a downgrade for everybody involved in this garbage.
Like the cameraman?
Now they're okay.
This is a downgrade for Paul Bearer, and he's dead.
I'm gonna go. This is an upgrade though for Ben Sims, who was the director of this and who directed the other interactive ones. So I'd say, being with the Undertaker, definitely up from Bear Grylls or Grylls.
I'm actually going to change my vote. This is an upgrade for the Undertaker because he just retired. So then he's just doing nothing, and now he's getting paid.
What do you mean he's not? He's not doing nothing here.
No, he was doing nothing when he retired from the WWE.
He's on that pension plan from WWE.
Oh,
Sure,
yeah.
but like he's doing nothing. Now he's getting a little more money. That's an upgrade.
No,
And he basically did nothing. Like he's getting paid probably buku.
See how many times he had to roll back his eyes?
I have a weird question. Was this guy on Legends House?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That was a real WWE reality show
Yeah.
that we watched.
Yeah.
Let's go to drinking rules. I feel like I need some drinks. Every time you make a choice, take a drink.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Brian, you got one?
Every time the Undertaker rolls his eyes back.
What's a good one? Noah?
Every time you find a part of the house that is aesthetically confusing, take a drink.
Every time the aesthetic changes. Max?
Every time you want to turn this fucking garbage off, down a bottle of vodka.
Every time you fail, take a couple drinks.
Ooh, every time you panic and be like, oh my God, I gotta make a decision.
Yeah, every time you fail to make a decision, finish your drink.
Every time they talk about or touch the urn, take an urn-sized drink.
That's good.
That's a good one. The urn is a good one.
Every time they over-explain something, chug an entire urn full of ashes.
Would this show be better as a Quibi?
Yeah, because it'd be fucking short.
Yeah, I agree.
Actually, no, a Quibi as interactive makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, like I think it might be better as a Quibi because I think I'd probably just bail.
Would this show be better as that trivia show?
HQ?
HQ.
I don't understand. I mean, if The Undertaker was like, answer me these riddles 3, who is Dr. Isaac Yankum? That could be fun. Like, if it were Trivia Murder Party, but starring The Undertaker, that could be okay.
I got a couple fun questions. Would this show be better if everyone was naked?
Yeah, this could really go this can go a lot of weird directions here.
I'm gonna go with no, but I'm interested in what other people think.
It's more like I'm almost like there's nowhere to go but up from where it is right now. So like make it a little weird. Yeah, fuck it. Okay, sure.
Yeah, get that fake necrophilia porn.
I mean, I was thinking throughout it. So wrestlers, take them out of context of the ring, they wear extremely skimpy outfits. Like, think about it. They're literally in underwear and then boots.
I mean, the Undertaker was pretty well covered.
No, but he's an outlier generally. But even in his early outfits, he had the underwear and boots get up. So I was surprised they didn't come out in their underwear and boots get up throughout this, because there were so many other poor choices that just happened to be at a house late at night and showing up in their wrestling garb.
Another fun question I think Max just added. Who's going to hook up next?
Definitely Undertaker and Paul.
I was going to go with Undertaker in that urn.
I mean,
but Paul's good.
Who do you think's in that urn?
I mean, the urn steals the power from other people, so gotta steal Paul's power, right?
Yeah.
Brian, you have a choice.
Do you think the group is just like bonding together?
I mean, it could be just a 3-way with New Day, right?
Yeah,
it's possible.
it rhymes.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, I did think there was an opportunity here for one of their fears to be the human caterpillar.
What if there was a choice where that happened? How much better the show would have been?
I would have loved it. I would be
That's
like,
what
yo,
I'm saying. If you really dial this up to 11, where you get choices where you're a human centipede, or you fall on spikes,
thank you.
or like, you know, you get shot to the moon, or like you like die in an acid fire. Like, that's what you want.
Yeah,
Like, I think that's really what you need here. No
Who's-
PG. Take this to Super R.
Who's in front? Who's in the middle? Who's the caboose?
Well, I feel like Big E's got to be the caboose because he's big, right?
All right. I don't know if the production schedule is all that useful to talk about. I don't know how long this thing took to make, but not long.
Yeah, that was an afternoon.
Certainly less than a week.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is probably 2 days.
It depends how many sets and stuff they had. They had a lot of sets here. A lot of,
But it's all one. Like, they didn't have that many sets. Like, they had maybe like 6 sets, you know, and got them live in a soundstage. I think it took more time to build the sets than to shoot the production.
Yeah, I think the most reality thing about this show is that everything was probably done in one take, so it just it was
Yeah.
actually like rolling.
We're rolling. All right. So we do a stack ranking system between top, middle, bottom, third, between other reality shows. Give me a ranking, Brian. I mean, this is technically a reality show, so you can rank it against anything you want.
Yeah, if I'm gonna rank it as like I'm definitely ranking in the bottom third. I think it's got to go middle to bottom, just because the other interactive ones were kind of okay in some ways. Bandersnatch had like some good branching. You vs. Wild, like we actually died in crazy ways.
Well, there was like one death.
Yeah,
There was one interesting choice, I think, in that whole show.
right. A lot of them left to survival. Anyway, this just does nothing, and like it's very difficult to rewatch stuff. At least in the other ones, we could skip the parts we had to rewatch.
No, what do you got for me?
Yeah, so this is in a league of its own, right? So if I'm judging against other interactive wrestling programs on Netflix, I think it's the best.
So it's top third?
It's top to top in that criteria. I think out of everything else we always watch, or any other media to consume, because that's only two. There's only sides of the spectrum I'm going to look at here. Everything or nothing. It's shit. It's really bad. It misses a lot of opportunities. Like, they could have brought in more wrestlers, have more characters, make that more interesting, and be able to pop out of different things, except they have Paul Bearer's likeness all throughout the show. They give a little preview of Brock Lesnar in a clip. You don't bring him in. There's just a lot of misses here. The story's terrible. It's not exciting. So much not to like. So bottom of the bottom.
Max.
Yeah, I think this is a medium third show.
Medium third.
Middle third.
Middle third show.
Of course not. It's bottom of the bottom. It's fucking. Don't waste your fucking time.
All right.
I'm so mad.
Yeah, Max really took it down to the bottom level. I mean, it's obviously a bottom third show. I think that there's just like a lot of missed opportunities, just poor decisions everywhere, all over the place. Just very poor decisions. The story is nonsensical. Like, who gives fucking a wrestler Sith powers? Like, What is this? What world do I live in? I'm so confused.
At least he didn't speak like Yoda. It's like just to really twist it.
What if they just retold Star Wars and Undertaker was Darth Vader?
Xavier,
New
you are my son.
and New Day was just like Luke. Oh, that'd be great. This is garbage. Don't watch this. Sorry. So to answer our poll from last week, we got one response.
Woo!
Woo! We love you.
Yeah, it was a top third.
Thanks, Pam.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a top third on Twitter. So if you want to get in on the polls next week, please reach out on Twitter and Spotify. Answer our polls for Shipwrecked 2019. Top third.
We'll
From
have
the
to
audience.
check in with a friend of the pod, Courtney, and see what she thinks.
She's still watching.
Nice.
We've confirmed that. Brian, you have a shout out this week.
Curb Your Enthusiasm is back on, baby.
Whoa, wait.
Yeah.
It aired?
Episode 1.
Shit. Wow, I must have been busy this weekend because I did not know that.
There you go.
Yeah, I think you were a little busy.
This is what the shout outs are for.
Man, I feel so ashamed.
Yeah.
Noah, you have a shout out this week?
Yeah, not Curb. I'm so embarrassed. I'm gonna give it to Squid Game. Man, is that a good show? No spoilers, but like, I have not seen as entertaining, pleasant to watch, which is kind of weird to say if you've watched it.
I was like, I think your definition of pleasant is very different than mine.
Engaging.
Yeah, it's just like it's so fun. Like you're just like, wow, this is entertaining. I want to watch more of it. It's been so long since I've watched something that felt so addicting, in a positive way. So I will give a shout out to the Squid.
You should check out Alice in Borderland next.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Similar type of premise.
Cool.
Max, you got a shout out this week?
Some of us went to see Dune 2021.
Very good.
I was very
I loved it.
pleasantly surprised. I thought it was a great adaptation.
I would
Just-
highly recommend going to a theater to see it. It is a movie where you'd really want to look at your phone. So it'd be nice to be in a place where you can't look at your phone.
Have you guys heard the big Timothée Chalamet news of the day?
What is it?
No.
Okay. One of my favorite things is people doing really dumb investigations on the internet. So somebody found a YouTube channel called Xbox Controller Mod 360 or something, and it turns out to be Timothée Chalamet's like painting his Xbox controllers when he was 15. And just Vice has a whole article on people like investigating it. I thought it was really funny.
I don't even know how he got popular.
Was it like Call Me by Your Name or something?
He might like some reason like a year or two ago, he just turned out to be like one of those popular people alive. I'm like, I don't know who this kid is.
He's been in some movies.
Yeah. He did very well, and he's from New York City. It's crazy.
Max stole my shout out, so I have no shout out.
Sorry.
Still watching Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Watching Squid Game. What else have I been? Let's see. John Oliver, Last Week Tonight, always a banger.
Yeah.
Watch that.
Noah and I watched 10 minutes of the new Jon Stewart Apple TV show.
I've seen 2 episodes.
Seems all right.
It's very much a Last Week Tonight, but in interview form.
Yeah.
Which is,
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Which is, I like that kind of style. I just don't tend to like interviews that much. But it was, first 2 episodes were interesting.
It is. I didn't put that together, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, John Oliver was Jon Stewart's bitch for a while, and now he's stolen John Oliver's whole shtick. He focuses on one problem.
I don't think John Oliver, like, I mean, he definitely, like, punched through that, like, but, like, 2020 and 60 Minutes have been doing that for, like, decades.
But he's put
it's
his
different.
own twist
No,
on it.
I know. I'm not saying that
No.
he doesn't own, like, but,
Yeah.
like, 60 Minutes does one topic every week, every Sunday.
No,
like-
60 Minutes does 3 topics every
Whatever.
Sunday.
Whatever.
But
You know what I mean.
The
Yeah.
John Oliver format is the original Daily Show format, but just dial in on one issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, with the Daily Show, you're going to do every
So
day.
it's
like-
interesting to see that evolution of that format.
Yeah, I would say John Oliver, I don't think you're giving enough credit for how much he's put his touch on like investigative reporting. Like even 60 Minutes, it's an interview-based show. despite them having to go get those stories, John Oliver going in the weeds and the comedy, then doing his own, which I don't really like. That like the satire ad usually at the end or the stuffed animal.
He kind of stopped doing that.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't know why he does it, but it's his own touch.
I like the one on Netflix that they canceled.
Hassan Minaj.
Yeah, that was a good show.
He's coming to Seattle.
Oh,
In about a month. Paramount.
There you go. All right. Well, that's it for us this week. If you want to give us your rating, go to Twitter. Find us on Twitter at @HoopWithUsOn. Find us on Spotify at @HoopWithUsOn. And anywhere else you do podcasts, there's just not going to be the poll. You can find us on Facebook.com/HoopWithUsOn. No, I got a poll there. And then we can put polls up there. There's no polling there. So
Yeah.
if you want to engage, you can engage there too. But like, there's no polls.
There's a big Facebook event tomorrow. You guys can watch it. They're probably just going to say, look,
Are they
guys,
gonna
you've
be
been
like,
waiting.
The polls are back.
You've been waiting.
You've been waiting. So they were there, and we noticed engagement was low. But we know you wanted them back. So here they are. They're back. So there's no polling there. Sorry. You can email us questions and suggestions at hoopwithUsOn@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time. Welcome to Hoop This On, Season 6, Episode 17, where we watch Undertaker. Fuck, what the fuck is the name of the show?
Escape the Undertaker.
Escape the Undertaker.
restart it.
Escape. Hit the escape key.